Hey, so just doing my video blog for week 12 on ethics. So I wasn't able to make class this week, but I have reviewed all the lecture material and the reading material as well. So just talking about ethics in PR. So um, I guess the main point of it is that ethics can be different in every different culture. Um, I mean, your ethics really should be shaped by human rights first off. So obviously things like no slavery, treating everyone equal, that kind of thing. But I mean, your ethics do need to some degree be shaped by the culture that you're working in. So if you were operating in Australia, you couldn't go into, say, like Malaysia or India or somewhere with a completely different culture, like in the workplace and in the family sphere as well, because it's just not going to work. You have very different sets of values, and something that PR people and organisations need to respect and understand when they're operating somewhere. So, and another thing that I just wanted to mention is that just the change from really spin doctoring. I mean, PR was used to be thought of, and a lot of was used to be operated more as it's just a spin doctoring campaign. So just making people forget about the bad things that have happened, try to make it sound like in a better light, and just trying not to mention the bad things that you've done. Whereas now it's definitely transitioned to more of transparency and freedom of information. So I guess that's a legal thing as well with the Freedom of Information Acts in most countries. And also there's a much larger demand from stakeholders and the media for honesty, transparency, because I mean, if you don't tell people what's going on, they're gonna find out, and it's just gonna make you look a whole lot worse, which is gonna give you even worse PR than if you weren't honest in the first place. So probably there is the company Diageo. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. They're a worldwide alcohol company. They own Smirnoff, Bailey's, all those really big drinks. So, I mean, they were in trouble a few years back for. They used to be. I mean, it used to be socially acceptable to sponsor sporting events, and I mean, you know, other things like that, like school events, that kind of thing with alcohol. I mean, obviously now there's huge backlash against it, so people tend to get quite worked up about it, but you do look back on that and you have to think, I mean, in say 1950, it was socially acceptable to have cigarette advertising and alcohol sponsorship of sporting events throughout Australia, and that's something that most people didn't really question. Obviously, now the culture in Australia has changed a lot. So, I mean, it's illegal for cigarette companies to advertise, and I mean, if a cigarette company, say, tried to sponsor the AFL, they would receive a huge backlash from the community. So, I mean, you can look back and think, well, I mean, it really isn't ethical for an alcohol company or a cigarette company to sponsor a sporting event, but I mean they did. And they don't anymore because they say that they know it's unethical, but I mean back in 1950 they still did it anyway because the culture allowed that. So, and that's the end of my blog.